Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Afternoon Market Action. My name is Glenn.
My name is Ryan.
We're going to be your hosts for about the next hour. Today is Fed Day, big day, looking to see what the Fed has done, looking for the breaking news on it. Not seeing it yet. By the way, there it is. Federal Reserve holds interest rates steady as expected. If you can hear us loud and clear, please let us know in the chat, preferably with VV Nation, to let us know that we are coming across loud and clear. So, Ryan, no surprises today in regards to the Fed rate. Now, I'm curious to know, there was scuttlebutt out there that the first cut was going to be made sometime in May. Last time I looked, it may not be a cut this year. What do you think about that?
I mean, unless things go a little bit more... Unless this whole tariff scenario puts some real pressure on inflation, I don't see the reason for a cut this year, at least as of right now.
Well, it's going to be tough to cut rates in rising inflation. So we're going to see.
Very true.
We're going to see. The economy still is where it needs to be as far as the Fed is concerned. I think today at 2:30 when we listen to the Q&A, we're going to have to listen to see whether the Fed is dovish or hawkish when it comes to his decisions later on in the year.
And I think his comments are going to be more important to the market because I don't think anyone was expecting a change in the interest rates, whether up or down. But like you said, are we going to get a hawkish tone? Are we going to get a dovish tone? And is he going to bring any kind of certainty to the markets? Because that's what's putting markets on edge right now is uncertainty.
Markets don't like uncertainty for sure. I have noticed recently that the tariff talk has toned down a little bit. Okay. I think that a lot of the news that's out there is out there. It's whether or not he's going to do it. I'm going to tariff you. Well, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to tariff you. Well, I'm going to hold off. So I think that's where the uncertainty sits, and I think the American people are waiting to honestly see what's going to truly happen, and I think the Fed is as well. So
yeah. Well, certainly.
All right, I want to go into the program real quick because I want to take a look at the market timing graph. Of course, for those of you who are new, this is the movement of over 9,000 stocks that we track in the U.S. market, and this is the real-time data. I want to keep this up today because I want to see, as the Fed is talking, how we are affected real time. Going to the home page, we did get a green light in the color guard price today. Of course, primary wave is up. I still think, if I go back to graphs and put it on a 1 month graph, I honestly feel, my opinion, that this was the bottom of the market. We had a day. What was I looking for if the bottom had happened? Confirmation. We got it. Yesterday, I kept hearing on the chat in YouTube, yeah, Glenn, it looks like the market's going to go back down again. What do you think? I'm like, one day doesn't make a trend. One day doesn't make a trend.
Especially the day before the interest rate decision.
Absolutely.
It's typically when the market gets some jitters, isn't too surprised by yesterday's, bearish pressure there. But like you said, we're breaking that downward trend in the VectorVest composite, holding above a crucial level support. All of our proprietary indicators down below are starting to trend higher now.
Absolutely.
So I like the optimism I see here in the market. But as you know, things can change, geopolitical or whatever may be in the news. But as long as there's nothing crazy in the news, I think we might get a little rally here.
There we go. All right. With that being said, we're going to go over our news articles. We're going to do it pretty quickly because, we've only got 25 minutes before the Fed is going to do his Q&A. Again, breaking news. Fed holds interest rates steady. Still, now that's the second.
There we go. Still sees 2 cuts coming this year.
Look at that. Who still sees? The Fed or the market? Going to be interesting. Still sees 2 cuts coming this year. I think I'm with you. Depending on what's going on with inflation, will determine whether or not he's going to cut rates. All right. First story I wanted to talk about real quick may not be stock related, but Boeing Starliner astronauts complete a return to Earth in the SpaceX capsule after extended stay in the ISS. I want to say I'm glad to see that they are back. Type a W in the room if you're excited that they are back. They were only supposed to be up there for 8 days. They were there for 9 months. And I'm all about, I just wanted to put this out there as a story the human side of us outside of the stock market, I think that this is great news. I'm glad that they're back. They're going to have to go through some rehabilitation to get back.
Yeah,
to
and even the stock Boeing's going to have to go through some
Oh,
rehabilitation.
yeah. I saw Boeing is still going down.
Oh, yeah.
Because
well, they had, airline problems, spaceship problems. I mean, there were so many bad memes on social media. Just the sentiment is not with Boeing right now. And even the VectorVest software was way overvalued.
Well, it's going to get to be undervalued. It probably may get to be undergone. It might get to be undergone. I think it's because it's in that space. It ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
All right. Interesting. My first story, Tesla jumps after securing the first of many approvals for California robotaxi. I want to know your opinion in regards to the robotaxi. Is this a big deal for Tesla or not?
I definitely think it's a big deal, but this rollout has taken a lot longer than expected. And now with competition, like, was it Waymo, Google's self-driving car company?
Already ahead of the curve
as far as
Tesla is concerned.
So they have to, get this program going sooner or later because competition is going to ramp up in this space.
For me, I'm still of the mindset it's hard to bet against Tesla long-term, but just not the right time. If I'm going to play Tesla right now, it's going to be TSLQ or TSLZ.
Which one's Z?
It's both of them are playing to the downside, I believe.
But which one's Z? Is that double leverage? Because Q is just signal leverage,
then
right?
It's probably double leverage.
Okay.
All right, so am I putting a whole lot of stock in this stock moving up? Short-term maybe, but I want this to settle out and see if they're really, really getting closer and closer to FSD. All right, next story. This is an interesting story. This is Ryan's story, but I like this story a lot.
So, if you've been following the channel, let me get rid of all these paywalls here. I've been talking about rare earth minerals for a while now. But now it's really starting to hit the headlines because obviously Donald Trump, the president's been speaking of it. Ideas such as, the Greenland idea, trying to increase partnerships with Canada for their rare earth minerals. However, this could be a complete game changer right here. The University of Texas estimates U.S. coal ash contains 11 million tons of rare earth elements. And to put that into perspective, I was just, Googling how much U.S.
No, you didn't Google it. I did.
I Googled it after. We couldn't find it.
Okay.
But it's around 8,800 tons annually. So you can see if this did come to fruition, that's a huge game changer because if you watch my videos, China, they have a monopoly in rare earth elements. Look at it, 70% of coal ash produced from 1985 to 2021, totaling about 1.9 billion tons, is potentially recoverable. So does
that take our reliance on China off the table?
If this comes to fruition, this will, we're weaning that way. Because China, it's twofold. Not only are the majority of the Earth's rare earth reserves in China, but they have a lot of the chemical plants needed to process these rare earth minerals, like mining them to processing them. And you see, look here, China, 2023, China banned the export of technology to extract and separate rare earths in a bid to protect its rare earth industry. So China's already responded to this. They see this as a threat, right? This is a huge game changer. I mean, as far as rare earth elements and what they're used for, they are important. They're literally the soul or the backbone of the semiconductor industry, AI industry, self-driving technology, batteries, even glass manufacturing for like smartphones. I forget what chemical it was, but there's a chemical that's in the glass of smartphones. So, I know rare earth, prior to 6 months ago, I think the first time I started talking about was right before the election, maybe, September, October, somewhere around there. But this is a huge space. So today, I actually, did a little bit of research and said, what companies are going to benefit from this? What companies are involved in coal ash recycling, right? So on that basis, I do have some stocks. There's like 6 of them too. And some of them you guys have mentioned, like MP is one of the stocks, but that is in the watch list. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment.
All right. I really do like this story. That is huge. That could be huge.
I mean, not only from an economic standpoint, but from a national security standpoint.
Absolutely,
that's a huge story.
All right, next story is Nvidia. I'm very Nvidia today. I'll talk about how do I feel about Tesla. I think long term Tesla is going to be a good play. right now, I'm not putting my eggs into the basket of Tesla to the upside. I think that he's gone through a whole lot of brand stuff that's hurt him. So I'm long-term good on Tesla, just not right now. All right, Nvidia. Nvidia and Musk's AI joined forces with Microsoft to power AI infrastructure expansion.
That's three powerful entities.
Absolutely.
Nvidia, Microsoft, and then obviously the Elon ecosystem
so
there.
I think that this story, a lot of stocks benefited from yesterday's keynote GTC presentation. I think on Friday, I'm going to talk a lot about those stocks. Craig asked me, was I going to create a portfolio like I did last year? And yes, I've already created a portfolio. Now, my Friday video is going to be more about energizing the AI space because the CEO of Nvidia, there's a clip that I'm going to play that says that we are energy limited. With all of the stuff that all the stuff that's going into the infrastructure, we are power limited. So Friday's video is going to be all about the stocks in that space that are going to have to be able to power the AI boom.
That is a key point you bring up because I was watching some of that GTC event yesterday. It was saying the next evolution of AI is going to require 100 times more computing power than what the first generation of AI. So that means a whole lot more energy.
And I think that there's not enough emphasis out there on just how much energy is needed in the time frame. So I am going to present some stocks that are going to definitely benefit from the AI infrastructure buildup and investment, and these stocks are going to have a chance to, I will say, multi-bag. So that's going to be on Friday's video, stocks, the energy needed to provide for the AI infrastructure.
I like it.
Next story, Meta.
So I thought this was interesting because we've seen a lot of mega corporations, in this example it's Meta, switching the state in which they're based out of, right? For tax purposes, benefits, things of that nature. Delaware really feeling the punch right now because obviously we know Elon Musk moved his companies to Texas. Well, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, trying to pretty much put a stranglehold on Delaware and say, hey, give us incentives or we are out as well.
And the governor is like, yo, what's up, homeboy?
Yeah, so they're trying to make incentives. We will see. Another big company, it's not a mega cap company, it's based out of Delaware, which probably won't move just because it's relationship to some other naval and other government entities. IONQ, the quantum stock. So a lot of big companies based out of Delaware. I just find it interesting, because we've seen, companies get reincorporated, out of, New York, California, Delaware, into other states, primarily in the South because of tax purposes.
Well, that'll be Texas, that'll be Florida.
Yeah, Tennessee is a big one.
Tennessee's, that's not really South, is it?
Is it really north, though?
I don't know. Okay.
Is it really north?
Companies,
I would consider Tennessee kind of in the southern states. I mean, it's kind of...
It's
right there on the
us.
Yeah,
it is bordering us.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of states looking at the tax implications, potentially moving. So we'll see how that pans out. Next story. Oh, I got another Nvidia story. How about that?
Shocker.
Here's what Wall Street is saying about the Jensen Huang's performance. One, I watched it. Joey gave us the link to watch it live, and I spent the afternoon watching it.
I did watch a lot. I liked what I heard. Essentially, they got their hands in everything.
Yes, they do.
Like
it's still a powerhouse stock.
Self-driving, industry, military, they've got their hands in everything. I've said it many times, if you're a long-term investor and you can get Nvidia close to $100, I wouldn't be mad at it.
So the big thing about me is all of the infrastructure, the chips, moving from the Hopper, moving to Blackwell, now looking at Blackwell Ultra, the Vera Rubin chip. Did you know that Vera Rubin was the one who discovered black matter?
Who?
Black matter.
Dark matter. I was like, black matter.
Black matter, dark matter.
I don't know what black matter is.
Dark matter. Sorry.
But Vera Rubin?
Yes, and he named the chip after her, which was kind of cool. All right, and Nvidia's data center infrastructure revenue will hit $1 trillion by 2028. That's a lot of money.
Like annual revenue?
Yes. Infrastructure revenue. That's just on the infrastructure side. That's a lot of money. Am I ever going to sleep on Nvidia? No. Do I want to buy it now? Ryan did a great video last week about has Nvidia bottomed. Hopefully you took a look at that. You can't, just like I won't bet against Tesla long term, there's no way in the world that I bet against Nvidia long term. And I honestly think out of Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft, Nvidia becomes the first $4 trillion company.
You know what? I'll back that claim up.
Okay.
That would be my opinion too. If any company could do it, I would say it would have to be Nvidia.
So it's interesting. Someone in the comments in YouTube, I'm going to go to the next story. Someone in the comments in YouTube wanted to point out and say, so Glenn, what was your price prediction on Nvidia? I said $175. It ain't there. I still got into the next earnings. That's where I think Nvidia is going to be, still at $175 prior to the next earnings. Am I right? Don't know. Am I wrong? Don't know. We'll have to see. I'm sticking to my price claim on Nvidia.
Because I put it around 170s too in a video I did recently. I think it was the earnings video.
Okay.
But I gave it a 9-month time frame just because with everything going on with the economy right now, I had a feeling it would take a little bit of a dip, and it was right at the top of that descending channel. But it's Nvidia. I mean, if you missed out on Nvidia, it's run before. This dip is not a bad dip to get in. But all I'm going to say is it's not going to give you the multi-bagger opportunities that it once did. Think about it. It's at $3 trillion to get up to $6 trillion. I mean, is it likely? Yeah. But, to get up to 9, 12, 15 trillion, to get more bags after that, it's going to take a lot of time.
And Glenn says, I thought Palantir was your number one stock for $4 trillion. I ain't never said that.
Not for $4 trillion.
I ain't never said that.
It might have been your best stock pick last year.
I still own it.
Yeah, you still own it.
There's no way that I'm going to $4 trillion on Palantir. Not anytime soon. All right, next story.
But yeah, so this is an interesting story. Chinese companies, obviously, they've been hot right now. I did a video on BYD, a couple weeks ago. Tencent profit surges 90%, almost doubled as AI revenue boosts and ramps up spending, right? It's a Chinese company. The biggest competitor I see with Nvidia in the next 10 years would be China. The amount of money they're putting into this space right now. Just think about it. Everything else they're able to produce cheaper and quicker and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So if they are able to do it, even with our chip restrictions, even us withholding technology from them, if they pull that off, that will put a lot of pressure on Nvidia. That's all I'm going to say about Nvidia right now. Are we near there? No. But that is my number one concern, at least in the long term when it comes to Nvidia. It's just cheaper, good chips coming from China.
All right. And interesting about, you did not put GM, Cisco, and T-Mobile in your YouTube short. I didn't because I only put a few stocks. I've got a portfolio with all of those stocks that I may show today if we've got the time. I've already created that portfolio. The short today only had a few of the stocks that are benefiting from the GTC keynote. All right, next story. Walmart launches a generative AI assistant, Wally.
I love the name.
I love the name too.
I love the name.
You saw in the keynote though, they had Blue.
Okay.
That was the little robot, Blue.
Yeah.
I think everything right now is all AI driven, but I do like the story. It is and it's more so for stocking shelves and that kind of thing, diagnosing why some products outperform others don't, how to support advanced calculations. The technology behind Wally involves semantic layer, which enables the platform to understand intricacies of Walmart's proprietary data. The biggest brick and mortar retail store out there getting into AI to help their lives be easier and better. Craig said, I'm going to go to the next story.
I think anything that saves money, and I think AI is going to be the biggest. I'll put it like this. AI might be the best tool we have right now to combat high inflation and high prices over the next year.
To make people more efficient.
Well, yeah, to make these companies more efficient so they can bring down prices.
Okay, I don't disagree with you. I'm going to answer Craig's question. Craig says there's more Boyds than Tesla on the road where he lives. Craig's in Australia. So I could see that happening. It ain't coming over here no time soon.
Boyd's not allowed in China, or not allowed in the U.S.
That's
and
right.
a lot of Western countries.
So I don't know much about the Boyd vehicles except for they're about the size of a shoe sneaker. That's about all I know. They're freaking little itty bitty cars. So I keep them over there. Craig, you drive them. I don't want to.
And that's my big concern when it comes to semiconductors, because you see what China did with EV technology. We don't even allow it here in the States because it will take over. They're too cheap.
Absolutely, because it's too cheap.
So what happens when China has those type of chips in 10, 15, who knows what the time frame will be?
I just don't think. I think you're going to get what you pay for when it comes with the. We all know that there's
that's a lesson in life.
That's right. There's always some things that China puts out that's cheap that's just not worth it. And I think when you talk about DeepSeek, you talk about anything that China produces that's cheap, it becomes a problem. And if you want to go buy that stuff, go ahead. Then you're going to find out, well, this is wrong, that's wrong. And do you want to put yourself through that? All right. Next story, Quantum Day Conference.
So, yes, tomorrow will be Quantum Day at the GTC event. Let me agree here. I just wanted to point these out. I did a short on this on Monday, I believe, but just in case you missed it. And what happened?
I don't know. Click it again. Oh.
Oh, no.
I don't know. You put
There you go. Featured sessions. So the companies to look out for in the quantum space. Big news. D-Wave.
I just closed my D-Wave today. I got smoked on it.
We got Atom, Microsoft, no surprise. Another big name here, IONQ.
Is RGT, there it is.
Yep, Rigetti down here at the bottom.
Okay.
So if you're holding quantum stocks, let's be honest, this could either be the make or break of quantum stocks.
I agree.
So if you're holding them and you don't want to sell them, if you're a long-term investor, believer, me personally, I'd be selling calls against them. You're probably going to get a lot of, implied volatility, a lot of extra premium. So even if the stock, doesn't go the way that you wanted it to, at least you got some insurance to offset those losses. Otherwise, if the stock does skyrocket and it hits your, your strike price, you made money either way. And you don't necessarily have to sell because probably not going to call it away from you right away. And if it dips back below, you can always buy that contract back at a cheaper price.
I still think that quantum is a trade more so than an investment.
Yes.
And I did trade QBTS. I got hit. And I bought it in, before this kicked off. It just didn't work out well. So I'll wait. I'll wait. I will leave some money on the table when it comes down to that. I will definitely, because I know when it moves, it moves. When it doesn't, you get hurt. All right, next story. Again, Microsoft,
Nvidia,
Google, are going to deepen their Nvidia partnerships. Oracle is in this story. What was the other one? I forget. It was anyway, I got more stocks to look at. I took a lot away from the GTC keynote. I was very optimistic about the stocks that they're partnering with, and those stocks are gaining some momentum. Glenn's head would not fit in a BYD. You guys don't realize I have a really small head. I really, really do.
He's lying.
If I took, because if I took the hat off of Ryan's head and put it on mine, my head would swim in it. I don't know why you people.
Would swim
I don't know
in it.
why.
Are you doing laps over here?
Let me see your hat. Let me show him. All right, there's Ryan's hat.
I like your hat. We can trade today.
There you go.
And it's like a little top hat.
There you go. And I got a big head. Really? I got a big head. You see this? All right. By the way, somebody put happy birthday, Ryan. Absolutely. Today is Ryan's
thank
birthday.
you. It is my birthday.
Type a W in the room.
We got a green light. I've been telling you on the Daily Color Guard report yesterday and Monday. I'm feeling good for a green light. It was all coming out together, coming off a yellow light 5 days ago, the price action, and it's coming to fruition. So I'm happy.
Happy birthday, bro.
And AMD's up today, so I like that.
All right. So last story, a little story. Yum boost sales with Nvidia AI partnership. I think that just for the most part, everything that we put up today was all about AI investment. Because it's just, folks, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. All right. So last thing we need to do before the Fed comes on in about 6 minutes, let's get back into the software. Damn it. Can I say that? Let's get back into the software. There we go. A little sideways move on the market, but yesterday a down day, today an up day, no wick at the top of the candle. I'm okay where we are.
Is that a bullish engulfing?
No, that's a bearish harami with no follow-through.
Okay.
Let's go to the viewers real quick. Watch list viewer, AMA. And let's go start off with the indices, where we stand before the Fed does his Q&A. We all know that the Fed kept rates the same. Look at that. The Russell is up now 1%, and the NASDAQ is up 1%.
I think the tech and growth stocks, with that news coming out, potential of 2 cuts, that's great for them. Like, that is, I'm being more pessimistic.
It's silly for the market. I agree. I think it's silly for the market. We don't need a cut yet. Not a cut yet. Let the market play itself out first before we do. But
I'm not a fan of cutting the rates right now. But I think if they, just that announcement, that news is really good if you're holding growth stocks, speculative stocks, tech stocks, things of that nature.
Someone says that's why QBTS. I love the news that came out of D-Wave. I love the news that came out of D-Wave.
Yeah, my only issue with a lot of these quantum stocks is just the valuation. I could understand, somewhat of a stretched valuation, but a lot of these companies we value, cents on the dollar, and they're trading, 10, 15, 20 bucks a piece off of hype. Obviously,
and it is hype.
It is hype. Trust me, I know the technology could change the world, but it hasn't changed the world yet. So you're taking a lot of risk.
It's not ready yet to try to change.
We're going to find out tomorrow if it's ready and how soon it's going to be ready with Quantum Day. Because if anything,
I'm not listening to you.
Juan could, the CEO of Nvidia could either,
It depends on what he says.
It depends on it. Because that's what people are going to listen to. Obviously the CEOs of quantum companies are like, oh yeah, we've got all this good stuff.
But if he backtracks from what he originally said, that could be a big move for quantum.
Oh, that'd be a huge move.
It'd be a big
huge move. That's why I'm holding a couple quantum stocks in my AMA portfolio.
All right, let's go look at my picks from last week. Silver, Nvidia, Taiwan Semi. I love this stock. A lot of you have said that you've made some money on that. Talon is another stock that I like. Oil, Gush, Intel, Tesla, and Quantum. I did have QUBT. I actually went and bought it.
You got hit yesterday pretty bad, right? I did.
All right, let's go back 1 month. Oh, sorry, 1 week. Let's go see what they did. Quick test all.
Look at you over
10.92%.
11%.
Look at that. Only 2 stocks went down, TSM and Tesla. Everything else went up.
Keep it up, went up 53%.
In 1 week.
Whew.
In 1 week. You picked the crappy out. You picked the crappy quantum. I picked the good quantum.
You picked a very speculative play. You're lucky
no,
that
no,
worked
no,
out.
no, no, no. It's better than
But we both said it. The quantum stocks going into the quantum day. I think I put IO and Q. I think that was my pick.
We're going to look.
We're going to look.
And here's my stock picks for this week. Google, Yum, Microsoft, Walmart, Oracle, and Tesla.
I like that. That's a good, well-rounded list.
I'm very tentative about Tesla. This is news-driven. All right, let's go to Ryan's picks last week. What did you have?
Craig, well, I know you're happy if you own
gold.
Oh, you own QTUM, the ETF. Nice.
There it is. Those
gold,
are two
silver.
good plays. You had Nvidia, Cloudflare, Weeme.
Oh, Seals went. That's the one I really pushed last week. That thing jumped big.
All right.
Let's see what we did here.
Let's go back 1 week. Let's do a quick test of all. 6.38.
Hey, only one loser net.
Only one loser. And LAES was his big winner, not nearly as big
as my head?
Yeah, it's probably as your head.
It's not as big as my head.
I wasn't going to say that. That's mean. I wasn't going to say that. I'm glad to see that we both made money for the week. That was a good thing. Mm-hmm. What time is it? 2 minutes before the Fed. I think we got everything done.
Glenn, are you going to talk about Nvidia? Should we buy more? That's the question. Amir wants to know.
Hold on. Talk about that.
My strategy with Nvidia, allocating a little bit of money each month, depending on how much money you got.
Oh, no, I'm not dollar cost averaging. I ain't doing that.
I like the idea of dollar cost averaging until I get my position filled.
Now, interesting. So you want to know about what I think?
What do you think?
It's moving sideways.
Yeah.
It's above this level of support. It broke up through this downtrending triangle. Channel.
It's okay. You'll get those shapes right one day.
It is still undervalued. I don't like that value is falling. All right. RT is on the rise. Look at that. So I think it's setting up. If you don't own it right now, I think it's setting up. Would I buy it now? No. I'd like to see RT go above 1 on good volume, possibly breaking through this level of resistance. That's what I'm looking for. So if you own it, would I add more to it? Not yet. All right, but if it goes back down to these levels of this descending channel, I think that's not good. All right, so that's where I am right now. Glenn, are you going to talk about Nvidia? Should we buy more? And that's my answer. It's neutral. Right now, sideways move at this level of support. That's where I look at it. I still believe it will go up. Again, long term, I still think Nvidia is a great play.
Yeah, I don't think the concern is what Nvidia is going to do in the long term. We're just trying to figure out what's the best price right now. That's why me personally, if I had to, say I'm going to put $1,000 in Nvidia, tiptoe here, tiptoe there, get a good dollar cost average. After you fill the position, don't keep dollar cost averaging. It's not what I'm saying.
All right, Joey, you can move this around however you want to between the Fed. Oh, you don't? All right, so let me bring up the software. I can do that.
As far as quantum stocks, I do not own quantum stocks. Full disclosure.
Oh, but you were so... I don't
own them right now.
I'm just saying, I don't own them either.
It's not that I don't own them. Don't have the extra cash to buy it right now. Actually, most of my money's about to go in an AMD option.
Good afternoon.
I already tiptoed
My colleagues
into
and I
it.
remain squarely focused on achieving our mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. The economy is strong overall and has made significant progress toward our goals over the past. Labor market conditions are solid, and inflation has moved closer to our 2%.
So he's saying inflation is dropping.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. We also made the technical decision to slow the pace of decline in the size of our balance sheet. I'll have more to say about these decisions after briefly reviewing economic developments. Economic activity continued to expand at a solid pace in the fourth quarter of last year, with GDP rising at 2.3%. Recent indications, however, point to a moderation in consumer spending following the rapid growth seen over the second half of 2024. Surveys of households and businesses point to heightened uncertainty about the economic outlook. It remains to be seen how these developments might affect future spending and investment. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects GDP to rise 1.7% this year, somewhat lower than projected in December, and to rise a bit below 2% over the next 2 years.
Joey is working on the
In
sound.
the labor market, conditions remain solid.
Feedback gone.
Averaged 200,000 per month over the past 3 months. The unemployment rate at 4.1% remains low and is held in a narrow range for the past year. The jobs to workers gap has held steady for several months. Wages are growing faster than inflation and at a more sustainable pace than earlier in the pandemic recovery. Overall, a wide set of indicators suggests that conditions in the labor market are broadly in balance. The labor market is not a source of significant inflationary pressures. The median projection for the unemployment rate in the SEP is 4.4% at the end of this year and 4.3% over the next 2 years. Inflation has eased significantly over the past 2 years, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.5% over the 12 months ending in February, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.8%. Some near-term measures of inflation expectations have recently moved up. We see this in both market and survey-based measures, and survey respondents, both consumers and businesses, are mentioning tariffs as a driving factor.
Ta-da, tariffs.
Beyond the next year or so, however, most longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation.
As soon as he said the word tariff, we got a red candlestick. I knew it.
Joey is still working on the sound in the background.
2% next year, a little higher than projected in December. In 2027, the median
Joey, I can't hear. You might need to turn it up some more. Just give him a hard time. He's trying.
Are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 4.25% to 4.5%. Looking ahead, the new administration is in the process of implementing significant policy changes in 4 distinct areas: trade, immigration, fiscal policy, and regulation. It is the net effect of these policy changes that will matter for the economy and for the path of monetary policy. While there have been recent developments in some of these areas, especially trade policy, uncertainty around the changes and their effects on the economic outlook is high. As we parse the incoming information, we're focused on separating the signal from the noise as the outlook evolves. As we say in our statement, in considering the extent and timing of additional adjustments to the target range for the funds rate, the committee will assess incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. We do not need to be in
That's why I didn't take the subtitles off right now, so you can at least see what he's saying.
In our SEP, FOMC participants.
How's the sound now, folks? Okay.
based on what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario. An admittedly challenging exercise at this time in light of considerable uncertainty. The median participant funds rate will be 3.9% at the end of this year and 3.4%.
Jerry says it's doing like a squeaking feedback.
Individual forecasts are always subject to uncertainty. As I noted, uncertainty today is.
It said perfect for 1 second while
of
you
course, these
spoke.
projections are not a committee plan.
He said, Thomas says, it was perfect for 1 second while I was speaking. So you must have did something.
We will adjust our policy stance.
In a manner that best promotes our maximum employment and price stability.
Craig, I'm not moving the mouse.
If the economy remains strong and inflation does not continue to move sustainably toward 2%, we can maintain policy.
Says Transformers having conversations.
We can unexpectedly, or inflation were to fall more quickly than anticipated, we can ease policy accordingly. Our current policy stance is well positioned to deal with the risks and uncertainties that we face in pursuing both sides of our.
Jerry says it's fine.
At today's meeting, we also decided to slow the pace of decline in our balance sheet. Since we began balance sheet runoff, our securities holdings have declined by more than $2 trillion. While market indicators continue to suggest that the quantity of reserves remains abundant, we have seen some signs of increased tightness in money markets. Beginning in April, the monthly cap on Treasury redemptions will be lowered from $25 billion to $5 billion. Consistent with the committee's intention to hold primarily Treasury securities in the longer run, we are leaving the cap on agency securities unchanged. This action has no implications.
Jerry says it may be mic
monetary policy
feedback.
and should not affect the size of our balance sheet over the medium term. The committee also continued its discussions as part of our 5-year review of our monetary policy framework. At this meeting, we focused on labor market dynamics and our maximum employment goal. As we have indicated, our review will include outreach and public events involving a wide range of parties, including Fed Listens events around the country and a research conference in May. Throughout this process, we will be open to new ideas and critical feedback, and we will take on board lessons of the last 5 years in determining our findings.
All right, I turned off my
We
mic.
intend to wrap up the review by late
No,
summer.
not you. You don't.
The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and
cuts.
stable prices.
4 cuts.
We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I will look forward to your questions.
Howard Schneider with Reuters. Thanks for your time. So,
Wow.
Inflation and the GDP. How much of the higher inflation forecast for this year is due to tariffs, and since the policy path remained
Market will sell off because they don't believe that.
as a one-time price level shock?
Okay, so how much of it is tariff? So let me say that it is going to be very difficult to have a precise assessment of how much of inflation is coming from tariffs and from other, and that's already
That's
the case.
interesting,
That,
you know,
goods
about
inflation
tariffs.
moved up pretty significantly in the first 2 months of the year. Trying to track that back to actual tariff increases, given what was tariff and what was not, very, very challenging. So some of it, the answer is clearly some of it. A good part of it is coming from tariffs, but we'll be working, and so will other forecasters, to try to find the best possible way to separate non-tariff inflation from tariff inflation. In terms of your sort of looking through question, Too soon to say about that. As I've mentioned, it can be the case that it's appropriate sometimes to look through inflation if it's going to go away quickly without action by us if it's transitory. And that can be the case in the case of
Ooh, did he use the word transitory?
Oh, not again.
Take off value or stop.
Moving through fairly quickly and critically as well on inflation expectations.
There we go.
Well anchored, longer term inflation expectations.
Let's see here.
Well, I guess I'm looking at the out years here, and the fact that the policy path doesn't change at all, and inflation is unchanged in the out years also. Doesn't that imply you all have basically decided that there is no...
Nvidia's having a good run today. The Q's pulling back a little bit.
We're back to transitory again?
So
I'm not touching Bitcoin.
I was putting it there.
We really can't know that. We're going to have to see how things actually work out. And the fact that there wasn't much change, I think that's partly because you see weaker growth but higher inflation. They kind of offset. And also, frankly,
These are intraday moves on these
when it comes
stocks.
to changing something in this highly uncertain environment, I think there's a level of inertia where you just say, maybe I'll stay where I am.
Amir wanted to see what to do with the semis and gold.
You just described inflation expectations as well.
Nice move on gold.
Confidence in that assessment changed at all, given the increase in certain measures.
Nvidia, nice move.
Expressed by businesses
The Qs.
and forecasters.
On inflation expectations,
I'm not even looking at
we
that.
do monitor
And there's the semiconductors.
basically every source we can find, and short-term, long-term, households, businesses, forecasters, market-based. And I think the picture broadly is this: you do see increases widely in short-term inflation expectations, and people who fill out surveys and answer, questionnaires.
Smack this, I 100% agree. Tariff inflation hasn't hit yet. And inflation was on the rise before these tariffs. Keep that in mind.
See much in the way of an increase. Longer-term inflation expectations are mostly well anchored. If you look at the New York, for example,
Interesting.
market-based, and it's the same pattern.
But that would be more monetary inflation, right?
For who? With John's question?
Yeah, John's
Some higher
question.
inflation
Yeah.
over the next year must be related to tariffs. We know from
No,
the
because they come on
if you look
April
out
2nd.
5 years or a 5 year forward, you'll see that break-evens are either flat or actually slightly down in the case of the longer-term one. So we look at that, and we will be watching all of it very, very carefully. We do not take anything for granted. It's at the very heart of our framework, anchored inflation expectations, but that's what you see right now.
And how much weight do you put on the deterioration in consumer confidence surveys? You said recently that this is perhaps
AVGO, nice move.
the best indication of future spending. But I'm curious, what you think is behind this deterioration and to what extent it could be a leading indicator for hard data.
So let's start with the hard data. We do
QBTS,
see
nice
hard
move
data
after
set.
falling this morning.
Looks like it's
put a couple of these other ones.
moderating a bit, consumer spending moderating a bit, but still at a
The
soft
AMD,
pace.
ARM.
Unemployment is 4.1%. Job creation most recently.
Nope,
has been
on INQ.
Rather flat.
Inflation, has
AMD,
AMD,
nice
nice
run.
move.
partly in response to tariffs, and there may be.
I only want it
delay in
today.
progress
There we
over the
go.
course of this year.
I was zooming
So
in.
That's the hard data. Overall, it's a solid picture. The survey gives,
ARM.
both
Flat.
households
It's looking
and
good.
businesses show
Arm is flat. Where you
significant
go looking
rise in
good?
Uncertainty and significant concerns about downside risks. So how do we think about that? And that is
It
the
dropped
question.
this morning.
Hasn't recovered yet.
The
Nope.
other day, and as you pointed out, the relationship.
AMD
between
is a
survey data
nice
and
intraday
consumer
move.
activity hasn't been very tight.
Now you can see why I've been talking about AMD.
Nice move on that.
It's getting ready.
The economy and then going out and buying a new car.
I'm trying to buy more options on AMD, but I'm not chasing it.
We will be watching very carefully.
I got a couple in
for
there.
signs of weakness in the real data.
SMCI,
But
nice recent move on 5-minute bars.
To react to what comes.
SMR to the fast lane. Interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my stocks on Friday.
The nuclear power for AI, I think that play is starting to finally come into fruition.
Nice move on SMR.
Wall Street Journal. Chair Greenspan wants
Semis, we already looked at SOXL, Amir.
environment in which inflation is below and stable over time, that it doesn't materially enter
What's
There's the semis.
the decisions of households.
There's
There's the
another
semi.
one. What's the Van Eck?
Not in this one. Close that.
Oh.
Back that out. Okay.
Is it Van X semi?
Big changes in inventories and surveys that show.
There we go. SMA.
Consumers, at least in the short run, expect higher inflation.
So I do like that definition a lot. In fact, I
Yeah,
used it.
that's on the move too.
There's 2 semi ETFs for you.
SOXL is triple leverage, so if you're more aggressive, probably more of a trader, that would be more suitable. If you just want to go along with the semis, the Van Eck.
This is 2 o'clock when we started,
Closer and closer to that.
right? And now since then, VectorVest hitting a new high.
For some time.
Look at our indicators, intraday.
Of the tariff inflation. Further progress may be delayed. The SEP doesn't really show further downward progress on inflation this year, and that's really due to the tariffs coming in. So delayed, but if you look at our forecasts, we do see ourselves getting back into the low 2s in 26 and then down to 2 by 27, of course, highly uncertain. So I see progress having been made.
I'm not feeling ADX
Progress in the future.
intraday.
That progress is probably delayed for the time being.
If that's the case, why are there cuts in the SEP for 2025?
There you go. Why?
Again, people wrote down 2 cuts the last time, and they look at the they wrote down meaningful decline in growth from 2.1 to 1.7 in 2025. A tick up in the unemployment rate, so not much there, but core inflation up by 0.3, and so those kind of balance each other out. So people, not everybody, but on balance.
Troy, Troy, I see you retract the statement, but you bring up a good point. The philosophy here, Vector, especially more prudent approach. We got the green light today. Wait for the follow through tomorrow, because this could easily be a head fake for the market. So Troy, great point there. If you're not aggressive, if you're not on top looking at the charts, wait till tomorrow, get some confirmation.
Thank you, Roy. Yard was another pick. We'll see what happens with it. But again, 2 o'clock when the announcement was made in the market.
That should be low enough to bring people from the sidelines in terms of hiring. But we're seeing the hiring rates have been stuck at 2023, 2024 levels. So what's going on?
Hiring rates.
That's a feature that has been for some time a feature of this labor market. You have pretty high participation accounting for aging. You've got wages that are consistent with 2% inflation.
Joey got the sound right. Thanks, Joey.
We've got unemployment, pretty close.
It's all about that JPI.
Shut up. That's all I got to say about that.
The hiring rate is quite low, but so is the layoffs.
There's the green light.
So you look at initial claims or layoffs, so you're not seeing people losing their jobs, but you're seeing the people who don't have a job having to wait longer and longer. And, the question is, which way does that break? If we were to see a meaningful increase in layoffs, then that would probably translate fairly quickly into unemployment because people are, it's not a big hiring market. We've been watching that, and it's just not in the data. It hasn't happened. What we've had is a low hiring situation.
Interesting move on DRD. I still think mining stocks, gold, silver stocks, based on what he's saying today, are still good plays.
I think having those in your portfolio in 2025, not a bad idea all
I
around.
agree.
The new administration's policies in the economy.
I'm not going to say for 2025, anything can happen. Right now, it's one of the hottest industries.
Inflation is across the economy. Have we started to see new policies take effect in the numbers?
Only in a kind of an early way.
Yes, Bill, I talked about that in the Daily Color Guard report. I mentioned the past 2 days that today would be the day, the best chance we can get a green light.
They're certainly meaningful to the people involved, and they may be meaningful to a particular neighborhood or region.
Smack this says, I know 3 people unemployed 1 to 2 years and can't get a job interview.
See, I can't feel that, Smack this. I've known people.
I'd have to ask what industries are they in. They got some pretty high expectations if they're going on job
I
interviews
know
for 2
about
years.
5 people who have either been laid off, more so laid off than anything, that have found jobs. All right, so I'm not sure about that, and I'm with Ryan. It's got to be what industries are they in?
It must be to do with people buying ahead of tariffs.
And one of those people that I know of is one of my daughters.
Very, very hard to capture because so much of it is.
She got laid off?
A great example is
What was she doing?
She was in the medical field, and she was with.
Prices went up, but prices also
a practice that had 5 doctors, and they each had an assistant. She was one of the assistants for one of the doctors, but the doctor left.
Ah, okay.
Very indirectly. And so there'll be a lot of work done in the coming months to try to trace all that through. But
Finance and managerial, I think a lot of people still need that. I don't know why they 3 years, 1 and 2 years, and can't find a job. And again, I'm talking about what's close to me, people-wise. Transitory is the word he's using again.
Wasn't the base case last time?
There you go. Wasn't it the base case last time? Transitory.
Wasn't the lesson that it quickly got into services, haircuts, daycare, everything else? And so I'm just
Look at his face going, damn it.
Oh, he looks so mad.
He
right
is mad.
now.
He is mad.
when you say last time, are you talking about the last
When you say last time,
You know what last time.
you know exactly.
You know
we're
what
talking about.
last time.
Yeah, no, of course, we're well aware of that. And
Transitory. If inflation pushes prices up, they ain't coming back down.
if there's an inflationary impulse that's going to go away on its own, it's not the right policy to tighten policy, because by the time you have your effect, you're in effect by design, you are lowering economic activity and employment. And if that's not necessary, you don't want to do it. In real time, as we know, it's hard to make that judgment. And we're well aware, of what happened, obviously.
Well, he even put his hands together, a little hand movement
'cause
there.
he knew.
He's a little nervous on that question.
Market's still moving higher, folks.
I guess he answered it right.
Still green
He
light.
said, "What about last time?" I might have to make a short on that little XSplit right there.
What about last time?
Did you guys enjoy the Nvidia short I put out yesterday?
With the wires?
Something like the market depends on this guy. That was very funny.
Today we're looking at your stocks live due to what's going on in the market.
Yeah, put in some stock symbols you're interested in, because we're not going to have time after this. I got daily color guard report today too, so we can't go over too much. Go ahead and put them in, and we'll start typing them in and see what they're doing real time today.
Sense of prioritization faced with higher prices and weaker growth, that the idea is you have to take care of
AMD, there we go, Jake. I'm looking at options right now on AMD, and they're doing good right now. I like it. I've been telling you about AMD. It broke out of the descending channel. Tonight's video is on AMD. All the information you need to know. Check it out. Of course, on my birthday, it would be AMD. But we're getting a green light and a breakout to the upside of the channel. I like
I wish
everything.
you stopped talking and tell me what stock to type in.
I'm not telling you nothing.
Okay, that's
Orla.
fine. I don't
There you go.
need-
You got
I-
Orla.
I don't
Did you
need
put
you.
Orla
I don't
in?
need you
You
anymore.
forgot Orla.
I don't need you. I do it all by myself. I don't need your help.
That's good. About time you did something. MOH. Yeah. The AMD options are doing good for this Friday. Probably be closing out of them and roll them over at some point here soon. Steven, yeah. Beers are on AMD tonight. I like it.
All right, so we got about 7 minutes. Let's look at your stocks. We're gonna look at them. Now I'm gonna look at them end of day. I'm gonna look at them end of day.
I mean, you can see the breakout of the channel on that. I mean, wait, that's a little bit different channel than I have. But yeah, that's a great setup.
I do like the
it. Just
move.
crossed above the 20-day EMA. You see RT growing. RT actually hitting a new high compared to where its previous peaks. So that's showing some optimism.
That's where it went above 1. It ain't there yet. It's close. It is close. I do like the setup for AMD. Nice
That
move
looks
on
good,
Mosaic too. Broke through resistance.
A little bit of indecision, but on Fed day today, I'm not too surprised by those wicks. But still, we're getting an upside body in that candle. I like it. Crowd, a great bottom fishing strategy.
Yes, look at that.
Right on that level of support there. Nice trend line up.
I do like that as well. I'd like to see more volume.
Look at the RT, 0.97, about to be in favorable territory. You might want to put CrowdStrike on your radar.
Nice candle on Palo Alto.
President Trump fired 2 members of
Well, I'm noticing on a lot of these, tech companies that are being pummeled. Look at the RTs now getting close to that one on the last 3 stocks we looked at.
And every one of them is coming off a level of support and starting to rise. RTs are setting up. I would wait till RT is above 1, though.
Yeah, John, no, I see that resistance. That's why I'll probably be cashing out my options today. I did pretty well with them and rolling them over. But it just depends what the general market does. If the market goes poopy, AMD's probably not going to do so well.
That's
either.
my word. You can't say it.
I like the word poopy.
Harmony, still a hot play, 1 day off the high.
Even with the rise in tech stocks we're seeing gold still
Rocking and rolling.
I like it. I mean, why not keep the gold?
That's why I still own Orla.
You still own it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. I don't know what that is.
Software company, healthcare.
Down day today. I wouldn't panic, though. But it almost went parabolic. Be careful with
And
that.
look at the volume. The volume just dropped off like a rock.
And that is a bearish harami. Be careful with this stock. I would take my profit. I would consider that.
Especially went from $4 to $8. And almost $8.60?
Yep, and RV is above 1, RS is below 1. This is more of an
That's more than
aggressive
100%. So if you got it under $5, at least take some off the table.
play. Absolutely. All right.
Force ourselves to look at it, but it is an outlier compared to market.
Full-bodied candlestick again today.
Look at that. New high, no wick.
Curiosity Stream. I like Curiosity Stream. I've actually used their app before. Have you?
I ain't never heard of it. But love the move, new high. Volume is okay, not falling off deathly hard. RT's on the rise. I like that. I do like Curie.
Orla Mining. Look at that.
I
Big
own
dip
it.
today, but that.
And look at the rebound.
Yeah.
Open candle. Nobody's gonna break my stride. Nobody's gonna slow me down. Orla's got to keep on moving. Yeah,
I like it.
I do too.
And as long as there's uncertainty in these tariffs and global trade, things of that nature, gold, silver, mining, they're going to be hot.
Palantir I own, but this stock is just moving sideways at a level of support / resistance. Would I tell you to buy any more now? No, I need to see it trending higher above this level of resistance and close above it. I own it because I own it outright. It's more than paid for itself. So I'm holding what I have long term forever.
Craig, you know what? Glenn is lucky to have me. On the latest app. So Curiosity, that thing we're talking about before, it's an app you can put on your phone.
Okay.
But they do like mental games, educational games. It's supposed to be good stuff for your mind. So instead of looking at a
I
bunch
just
of
take Prevagen. I'm okay. That's all. I just take some Prevagen. I don't need no app on my phone.
Is that the jellyfish stuff?
No, it's not. It might be.
The memory stuff?
Yeah.
I think that's from a jellyfish, to
That's
be
right. It's
honest.
better than an app on my phone.
It's better than the
Meta.
app on
Look
my
at that.
phone.
Look at that. That's a tough play, but it's stopping at support, right? Woo! RT is trending lower. Be careful with Meta. It's not setting up for me yet. You?
I think Meta, too early right now, but definitely put Meta on your radar. I mean, it's way undervalued. If we look at value, we value $684 for a Mag 7 company. I mean, look, it's looking like a bargain. You know, I'd let the bargain come to you. Don't
But
chase
look
the
at
bargain.
value.
Value's also in decline. Okay.
It's in decline. I just be careful with it. Ginkgo biloba is also good for mental acuity.
Yeah, I've taken that sometimes. Not recently.
Prevagen.
Prevagen. I'd look into that. But I'm pretty sure that's the jellyfish stuff. I've tried it before.
Okay.
Man.
In a channel, within a channel, within a channel, within a channel.
Yeah, a lot of
It's a trade.
consolidation. I'm not going to speculate. It all depends what Jensen says next tomorrow.
And look at RT.
Again, just focus on the value. I mean, these companies are way overvalued, those quantum stocks.
Molina.
Undervalued. If you look at the last month, values rising, price actions
No,
rising.
it's falling.
No, I was saying over the last month, though. Starting to recover.
Yeah. I'm not feeling it.
It hasn't done anything in the last 3 months.
I got a level of support here. Volume's falling.
It's a nice retest. Breaking that, retesting it unit support.
It's just sitting there.
I would take out yesterday's high just to see if we get a little bit more oomph before jumping in. It hasn't really
I'd
done
like
much.
more prudently to take out that high.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Nope.
Under, falling, sideways, no volume.
Technical? No, I don't like anything technical about this right now. Go to a 6-month chart on it. See if there's any optimism there.
No.
Nope, no optimism. That looked like a good old-fashioned pump and dump.
Like a butt whooping. Ooh. What is this?
Aerospace and defense.
What's the company? I can't see it.
Embraer.
Is it Nvidia? I like, whatever it is, I like that play. I
Look
like
at
that a lot.
Perfect, undervalued stock.
That
went right up to value. And even since it's valued, it's fairly valued now.
And look at the volume. I like that play. And it's cheap. What is that?
The volume's actually steadily higher than it was when it was cheaper. I like that.
I do too. A lot of people getting into it. I can't see the price though.
Oh, the price $56.49.
It's not a bad price for a stock that's going up. And just went from undervalued to overvalued. Did you do that, Joey? Yeah. Okay. No, we're right at 3 o'clock. We're right at 3 o'clock. This is the reason why I wanted to look at your stocks while he was talking, so we could look at them. We get that in because Ryan's right. We wouldn't have had the time. So we got to look at your stocks today. We probably looked at more stocks than the likes you gave us, right?
And to be honest, I mean, Jerome Powell did not seem hawkish, you know? It just seemed realistic. Like, hey, we're pretty much just going to have to wait and see what happens with these tariffs.
I like the answer about the tariffs. We're not going to know what's truly going on with the tariffs just quite yet. Mm-hmm. He used the word transitory. I wanted to jump through the screen.
That would be the biggest fear or the biggest headline I see out of this.
He's calling it transitory. I figured he learned from it the first time.
At least come up with a different word or something. Yeah. Look at the thesaurus.
Nah, Ryan, you're right, dovish. Okay, I don't know. I think he was pretty neutral.
Pretty neutral.
I think he was pretty neutral.
I mean, that's enough for that green light to hold, hopefully, into the close.
I agree.
And like Troy said, you know, there's been a lot of times where the market will react to what the Fed does or says, and then the next day switch their opinion real quick. So if you want confirmation, just look to see if there's another green light.
Right.
Price action.
Or watch the VectorVest composite. Trade the stock, not your heart.
Fernando, that would be what I would say. Neutral to dovish. All right. I could agree with that.
All right, 3:02. We're going to definitely sign off for today. Good job.
Thank you. You guys singing me happy birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday to you. Ta-da!
Glenn, that was fantastic. I couldn't have asked for a better one.
You know I love you, bro.
Thank you.
I love you. Happy birthday. I hope you many more. All right, folks, we're going to sign off for the day. Fed Day. Looks like the market, look at that, all of the major indices are up by 1% or more. So I guess everybody liked what the Fed said, or the market liked what the Fed said. Ryan's right. I think we hold on to the green light for today, and I think we continue moving up from this point so far. We'll see. All right. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. I love my peeps in Hawaii now because I'm now one of them. Always remember, folks, there's always good people out there. If you can't find one, be one. Mm-hmm. Odabu, bom dia, salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until the next time, folks.
See ya.
See ya.